Yo, yo, yo. What's up? Sorry, I know the video was over. I forgot to wax up the mustache, man. If I don't wax it up, I'll be sucking on the dang thing all day, man. Drinking coffee. What's up, guys? Gamer, what's up? Devea, what's up? Psych, what's up? My dudes and dudesettes. It's Saturday, baby. Weekend's here. Weekend's here. Let's see what Devea's talking about. Yeah, right on. I mean, it's usually all it takes, man. That's what world should be about, baby. It's about just being nice to people, and quite often that's all it takes is a small sentiment here and there, and you don't always understand how much that affects somebody's day or week or month or what have you, and that's why this community here is being built the way that it's being built, is because I've already had people express sentiments to me about how back at the beginning of streaming, even longtime members expressed certain things to me about stuff they were going through, and how the community was a great escape for them, and a safe, welcoming spot that got them through some challenging times. And I had no idea, but that's literally what it's about, man. It's about us being just good human beings, and you never know that how just being a friend, somebody to be there and lean on, and maybe even just an ear to lend to somebody for a while, can make a huge difference in their life. So that's great to hear, Devea. Great to hear. What's up, everybody? It's Saturday, baby. Hopefully the weekend slows down, right? And we get to enjoy it. It's good to see everybody. I don't know what we're playing today. Yeah, I got the video fixed, man. So I got the scene fixed to an extent. I've still got work to do on it. I figured out what the issue was. Now I've got to figure out how to do a little bit of more stuff on it to make it how I want it. But I've at least got it where the echo's gone. And thank you to everybody so very much for making sure that I was aware that was happening until I was able to figure out why it was happening and get it fixed yesterday. So thank you guys. I don't know. We're going to do gaming news, and then we'll see what we get into. I mean, we can talk about it while we go through news, find out what people want to... yesterday was bittersweet. We got through Valheim, at least what we had set as our goals to kind of get exposed to and experience throughout the Valheim gameplay, and we accomplished that. So time to move on. Monday starts Planescape Torment, but as far as today and tomorrow, I don't really know. Tomorrow might be a little bit of Raft gameplay with kids. That's probably going to be the play. Tomorrow's Father's Day, man, so I'll probably get the kids in here. We'll play a little bit of Raft together. Won't be a significantly long stream, more than likely, because I'm going to hang out with the family to celebrate Father's Day, but today I don't know what we're getting into, man. So if you guys want to talk about it while we go through news, let's chat it up and see what we can get into, okay? Again, good to see everybody. Thanks for being here. Let's hop over, get into this news segment, all right? Video gaming news, baby. Let's go. Gaming's latest AI woman recycles the usual sexist tropes. See what that's about. Lost Japanese adventure game from 1999 resurfaces, and it's so weird I can't describe it in a headline. Fantastic. Let's take a look. Yo, what are you guys getting up to this weekend? Any plans? Syke, how was the beer garden yesterday? Yo, by the way, speaking of Valheim real quick, Psych, if you haven't seen everybody else that was part of the server, Overthinker, Pinky, Varia, if you guys are hanging out right now, I sent you all a DM on Discord, giving you a access to the save world files and a small README text that should help you get those put into your own Valheim game so you can load them up and continue with your builds and everything. Chat is broken? What? What do you mean? Oh, okay, cool site. Cool, man. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wanted to try to make sure I got that taken care of yesterday if I could, because otherwise it would end up potentially getting lost on me, man. Beer garden was nice, sick. Sick, dude. Awesome. That sounds like a good time, man. Did you eat some food for me or did you just drink some brewskis? All you see is your comments. Weird debate. You might need to refresh the stream or something. I don't know. Did you already try that? I can definitely see everybody's. So I don't know what's going on with you or your Twitch, anyways. Not gonna dive into that. I am gonna look at this. Score this NVIDIA powered Lenovo gaming laptop for a ridiculously cheap $500. Let's see what this is actually about. That's funny. She has everybody on ignore. Devea has me on mute and has everybody else on ignore. No, I'm just kidding. Yo, yeah. If you don't recall, check it out. Superland is free right now. I don't. Maybe we jump into Superland today. I don't know. Check out the Bentley, dude. That's sick. So yeah, Superland's free right now. Um, and then Game of Thrones, the board game digital edition, and Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. Those will be free next week. So don't forget to grab Superland right now. Okay, free games. It's working now. All right. That's funny, man. Yeah, don't forget to grab your free games, man. NFT Tech announces play to earn gaming platform. We got to dive into it and take a look. You guys know how I feel about the NFT stuff, but it's continuing to pop up in different new kinds of articles. So we'll take a look at it. Steam sale drops 10 popular games to cheapest prices ever. I think. Well, let's take a look at that. We've already looked at this. I don't know if the sales are still going on, but quite possibly if you're interested in any new, free games, movies, toys, things of that nature, Target and Amazon right now are doing online sales of buy two get one free. So if you're interested, go take a look at those sites, see if the sales are still running, and you might be able to get a decent deal on some items, entertainment that you were looking to buy anyways. We've already talked about this. I'm not going to dive into it. This is not going to happen until like the 14th of next month. 14th of July, Prime Gaming is going to give away a bunch of free games. So we'll keep track of it. We'll keep making sure everybody understands and realizes when that's coming. Random emote time. Let's go. Try to get yourselves a free emote, or you can get yourselves a free emote. Don't worry about that. But you can get yourselves a free sub potentially. Play random emote game. There you go. I'm probably not going to dive into this. Bad news for GameStop. Video game sales saw steep decline. Um, we've talked about that already. It's the video game industry that has seen a dip, right? Uh, the video game industry has seen a dip in profit from basically the beginning of 2021 through where we are now in 2022, um, up to like a 19% dip in profit at this point across the board, hardware, software, you name it. And so ultimately, what that's also going to do is affect retailers like GameStop. Web3 gaming marketplace Aqua expands. We'll take a look at that. That is also going to have to do with like NFT blockchain stuff, but we'll see what it's talking about. List of the best PS3 games to stream on PlayStation Plus Premium. Let's take a look for anybody that has that. I know Gamers got it. Gamers got the new PS Plus. Dude, biggest, the entire, oh my gosh, dude, almost the entire page there. Epic Game Store update adds two new features. Let's take a look. We already read that they were working on some new stuff. They've been incorporating more achievements for games. They're trying to add in more profile customizable things for people's profiles, as well as rating systems for games, tags for games, much to the same effect of what Steam has done, right? And Epic Games Store, I think, is being accepted more widely now as opposed to when it first dropped, because so many people were up in arms, not necessarily that it was Epic, but more that it was another place to have another library of games, right? And I think at this point, what people are really looking for is the fact that Epic needs for their platform to have more of what Steam does. You know, allow you to flex that profile with a lot of your achievements and customizing your profile so it looks, brings out your personality, what have you, things like that, and a rating system and tags for games. A lot of the things that Steam does, and maybe even some things that Steam doesn't do to help them out a little bit more. Think outside that box a little bit. But Steam does things very, very well. They've got a really good, a lot of what they do on that platform is really nice. And I think as Epic incorporates more of those mechanics in what their platform offers as well, you'll see people become more and more cool with being a part of the Epic Game Store. Um, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. 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 We joke around in here all the time. Yeah. Yeah. It's usually pretty easy to tell when somebody's joking around. Yeah. But not always. Look, I mean, that's one of the reasons why emotes are such a big thing, right? Emotes are such a big thing because in text communication, we lose uh, all of our nonverbal cues, correct? And aside from me, because you guys can actually see me, right? And nonverbal communication makes up roughly like 70% of what communication actually is for most people, right? So yeah, that's where like a lot of emotes traditionally come into play to help us express whether we might be joking around or things like that in our chat for sure. All right, let's pivot here to our other search. as we do. I don't usually jump into. I want people to understand this has nothing to do with what this entails of being LGBTQ. I quite often don't dive into articles like this just because it's like a list of, you know, the top 10 retro games from, 2002, or it's that's not really news. It's like somebody's viewpoint. They wrote an article. It's their viewpoint on their favorite LGBTQ characters in video games. You know what I mean? And I don't often, because it's not necessarily news. I just don't dive into articles like this. Okay. Yeah, yeah, that works. Actually, what he does is feed off how three head I am, and it just basically it's really easy to be a comedian in this channel. All right, just feed off of how stupid I am, and everything works out. Now we've already talked about that. We saw this yesterday as well. If you're interested in seeing, now take into consideration here. Um, I feel like this list is a little bit off because I could tell immediately whenever I read this list and what this list is, obviously, right? 2023 video game release schedule. It basically listed even all the games they knew were coming out in 2023 that didn't have a specific release date yet. And Silk Song is not in here. Hollow Knight Silk Song is not in here, and we know it's being released within the tentatively released within the next year, right? So maybe take with a grain of salt that this is not going to include everything coming in 2023, right? But it is a pretty good list. If you're interested, go look at yesterday's news segment on YouTube, okay? We've read about that. FOIA request scores EA Sports college football details. Okay, let's take a look. There hasn't been a college football game in a very long time. But if you recall, here in the US, it was made to where college athletes can now be basically receive sponsorships. They can make money off that kind of thing. And that was what the big issue was for the longest time was whenever there were college football games, which were very popular as well, college football, college American football, video games, the big issue came with money being made off players, real life players that couldn't make any money off it themselves. And so eventually the game had to go away. Um, and now that that's kind of changed here in America, right? Where college students can now be sponsored and make money off sponsorships and things like that. The sports game, the college sports games are coming back into play. What was that? Sorry to say weekend. Yeah, same. Yeah, we talked about that. Wait, what? House Marquee wants to put canned Returnal ideas into its VGC. Huh? Let's take a look at that. We talked about Shredder's Revenge. This game looks really cool, especially for anybody that's into like the retro that had fun with the retro Turtles games. This looks like a really cool time. Yo, it's multiplayer. Play some Shredder's Revenge today. Who's down for some Shredder's Revenge? I'm not gonna jump into this. God, we talk about this all the time right now. We read a really good article, research, 10-year research that went on regarding aggression in kids as they grow up playing violent video games. It basically said it's not a thing. It doesn't prompt more aggression in kids. I mean, it did denote that there are still some areas that outside of what they were particularly looking at that needed to be researched, but there have been a just massive amount of research that has been done in regards to this area. And ultimately, what it always ends up coming up with result wise is that video games as a form of entertainment are not something that are the catalyst behind people performing violent acts. And I'm not gonna jump into this. We keep going over it and over it. So I'm gonna leave that one for today. We hit on that. What was this one about? We read this yesterday, right? Yeah. Oh, that's why it threw me off yesterday too. Making one of the best video game trilogies that I couldn't see this on the actual search site, so I couldn't see free. It looked like Amazon was making one of the best video game trilogies, but it's actually just them giving away Mass Effect later in about a month. The Quarry Highland Life were previously planned for what? Google? Okay, hold on. We'll read that. We'll read that and see what happened there. I'm not going to dive into this, but it looks like the new Little League World Series baseball game dropped potentially. Is it on Steam? Let's see. It is not. Where do you play that at? Because we already read about this. So I'm not going to read this entire thing, but it's actually got its own site. Oh, available in August. Okay, so it is coming to Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, Switch. It's not launched yet, man. It's coming in August. Shenanigans. But we already read about that, so I'm not going to read about it anymore. But it looks pretty cool. Little nice little arcade style like youth baseball game. Kind of neat looking. Talked about that. We've talked about both of these. We've talked about that a lot too. Hit on this. And that God of War coming out, Ragnarok coming out in November. We'll be definitely keeping close tabs on that one. Talked a lot about the unions in the video game industry and across just all forms of business. Workers are all about getting some unions started up. Hit on those. Last page. Here we go. We've got that up already. Shredder's Revenge looks really cool, man. We've hit on how expensive video games are, whether it be upfront price or actual like pay to play, pay to win mechanics. Video games are they're very pricey. Talked a lot about Netflix, not jumping in there. Yep, watched most of those. Hit on all these. Love hearing that. We shit on that. All right, let's see what we got here. See what we got. All the news from all the showcases is kind of declining a little bit for us. Going to get us back into that like hour and 20-minute long news segments. I know a lot of people were like, "Ah, these news segments are going long," but there was just a lot of video gaming news, man. So, Scoop Too Hot Games' secret Google connection. Google was involved in the creation of two notable video games in the spotlight this month before the downsizing of its Stadia gaming operation sent those projects elsewhere. Two sources familiar with their development tell Axios. Why it matters, the game's Google connections help fill out a picture of what Stadia could have offered. Google hadn't abandoned its ambitions in 2021 to create a gaming platform to rival PlayStation and Xbox. Details. Neither of the games, the well received horror adventure The Quarry and comedic sci fi game High on Life, has been officially associated with Stadia. The Quarry, developed by Supermassive and published by Take Two Interactive, was released on June 10th for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. High on Life from Squanch Games and a team led by Rick and Morty co creator Justin Roiland was revealed during a Microsoft Game Showcase last week and is slated for an Xbox and PC release later this year. That game looks really funny. High on Life, it looks really funny. And The Quarry looks cool too. But Axios sources say both games were projects that previously were being made for Google and presented as signature Stadia releases, meant to draw players to the streaming service. Supermassive Games was, quote, was looking for a publishing partner as the project came to completion. A rep for Take Two said of The Quarry, noting the publisher was proud to help release the game. Google had announced a partnership with Supermassive in 2020, but neither party had shared details on what they were making. When The Quarry was announced by Supermassive and Take Two this past March, Stadia fans were left guessing if it was the product of that Google partnership. A spokesperson for Squanch offered less context and simply stated which platform High on Life is slated for. A Google rep did not reply to a request for comment. Yeah, catch up quick. Google announced Stadia in March of 2019, attempting to shake up the games industry with a device-free, cloud-based platform and a lineup of games from a mix of outside studios and internal teams staffed by veteran game designers. An awkward rollout, confusing price structure, and lack of exclusive games at launch has hampered the project. In February of last year, Google began closing its internal studios. Its underlying cloud tech has since been licensed by AT&T to offer 5G subscribers access to a top Batman game, and by Capcom to allow people to play a demo of the latest Resident Evil game in a web browser. Yep, we've read about those. Didn't they have like, I think Control was part of that too, that AT&T provides. There are a few different like AAA titles that you can kind of stream at this point through AT&T's 5G service. The big picture in the super secret video game industry. Projects can be in development for years at major companies with no stakeholders so much as acknowledging them. When a publisher or platform provider begins cutting projects, those games can be lost or sometimes reemerge in unexpected ways. Yep. Well, the more you know, man. Yeah, I had no idea that those games were actually being created for Stadia. Wild. Gaming's latest AI woman recycles the usual sexist tropes. Um, Experts say that female coded AI contribute to misogyny, but PUBG publisher Krafton is going for it anyway. When I first saw Anna, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds publisher Krafton's attempt to put a face on its artificial virtual human technology, I was disappointed to see that this supposed Web 3.0 innovation was really just another pretty pale girl. For real, what, Syke? She's airbrushed but still tangible. She's biting her tongue, looking at you, and I fear she exists only to be looked at, and not much else. Crafton released its first images of Anna on June 15th. We got two tight close-ups of a vaguely East Asian woman with all the expected e-girl accoutrement. Dyed hair and adventurous ear piercings. Uh, yeah, yeah. Look, dude, this is what I'm gonna address this in just a moment. Let me finish reading this, and we'll talk about this. Uh, with all the expected e-roll accoutrement, dyed hair, and accoutrement, right? And adventurous ear piercings. Anna, who was created with Unreal Engine, has a lightning bolt tattooed on her finger. It's clearly visible when she puts her pinky up to her lips to stare at you with clear, amorous intent. Crafton revealed its virtual human technology in February with a technical demonstration displaying motion capture based vivid moments, pupil movements enabled by rigging technique, colorful facial expressions, and even the soft and baby hairs on the skin. The publisher announced its intent to use carefully designed virtual humans not just in its games, but in its esports demonstrations, and in the hope of creating more virtual influencers and singers like Robot Instagrammer Miquela. That's influencers and singers plural. I know. Give me a second. This is what it's. That's why I can't quit smiling. Is like, it's getting to such an absurd point. Like, uh, so Anna is likely only the start of what I can only imagine to be a circus troupe of PUBG robot babes. Robot babes are particularly trendy right now because we haven't grown at all since watching the movie Her in 2013. Before that, we got used to the idea of robots being malleable, unemotional women. In other words, perfect women. Back in 2011, differential female coded virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa started to live in our devices and corroborate the popular image of a loving, supportive electronic woman, most recently informed by future focused Y2K media. Think Cortana in Halo in 2001, or the virtual pop star in Disney's 2004 movie Pixel Perfect. In 2016, a man in Hong Kong spent $50,000 to build a robot that looked like Scarlett Johansson, who coincidentally voices the virtual assistant in the movie Her. We really haven't learned anything from that movie. We also haven't learned much from the real artificial intelligence experts who over the years have emphasized that female-coded robots alienate human women tech users and reward harmful stereotypes about women being servile and dedicated through whatever abuse they suffer. In 2019, the UN Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization released a publication arguing that Siri's female obsequiousness and the servility expressed by so many other digital assistants projected as young women provides a powerful illustration of gender biases coded into technology products, pervasive in the technology sector and apparent in digital skills education. But tech companies like Crafton continue to create within these gender biases, sewing them tighter and deeper into our societal fabric. Partially, that's because of gaming's conflicted but addicted relationship to sex. Yeah, I know. So that's what I keep thinking too. Yeah, this is one of those people that's like upset about the way this is all portrayed, right? Yeah. And it'd just be over with, right? Yeah, that's all it would take, right? Yeah, absolutely. You looked at the face and went, "Oh, that's a lady," but it's not, and then everything's fine. Right? Okay. I'm gonna finish this up, and we're gonna talk about this because this is like as much as this is what I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna talk about this, right? Yeah, there you go. Um, Female face, male gendered, right? Um, Everything would be fine, correct? As much as you know, you always hear the complaints about uh, how quite often females are portrayed in entertainment, video games as well as the perfect woman or whatever, whatever that even means. Um, it happens all the time to male characters too, right? It happens all the time to male characters. You see dudes that are just like every one of them looks like Brad Pitt's face with like an absolute like, you know, just jacked out Chad bod, you know what I mean? And but it's always like the women in the games that are called out for being stereotyped and sexualized and everything like that. It's never like the guy side of the thing that's like you know looked at the same way. We'll talk about all this. Give me a second. Partially that's because of gaming's conflicted but addicted relationship to sex and the evil eye of the merciless, always appraising male gaze, because it's only males that do this, right? Mainstream developers have on occasion attempted to move beyond the archetypical video game woman to embrace more realistic depictions, to Reddit's great disappointment. But character designs of women in video games at large remain recursive, buxom, and flexible. I love embracing my inner bimbo as much as anyone else, but when stiletto-heeled women with nipped waists are the only representation we have in video games, come on, dude. It reduces an entire gender into a repressive stereotype. Um, Oh, dude, yeah. But even more than they are for plain women, tech and video game companies are horny for the ill-defined terms Web 3.0 and the metaverse. Both are meant to invoke the idea of an empowered online individual, but in practice are usually just ways to rehabilitate and market out-of-date virtues, prioritizing work productivity, individual ownership for a fresh audience, perhaps to take cover from quickly crumbling blockchain innovations like pay-to-win video games. New Web3 proponents cling to comforting images of technological progress, which includes those ethereal, buxom digital women who might be capable of a roundhouse kick in Mortal Kombat, but would never nag you about your dumbass NFT investment. Criticism isn't in their source code. Crafton invoked all the right buzzwords for its Anna news, writing in a press release that Anna is designed to engage a global audience and help establish Crafton's Web 3.0 ecosystem that will attract the interest and popularity of Gen Z through music and a foray of influencer dom. The company declined to answer any of my questions, such as, do you think Anna's design will alienate female gamers? Is Crafton doing anything to prevent Anna from relying on stereotypes? Can you describe how Anna's design and capabilities might appeal to Gen Z specifically? Saying in an email to me that there will be more announcements, details in the coming weeks. Ideally, in the coming weeks, we'll be lucky enough to receive another close-up of Anna giving the camera meaningful bedroom eyes, except with a little more forehead. Speaking on behalf of my generation, we can't get enough of a poreless forehead. Sorry, I don't mean to be wholly pessimistic about Crafton's intentions. It's possible that below her neck, Anna will contain some messaging that indicates she's not another iteration of male developers conquering technology by shaping it into their preferred future. A thin, pale, obedient woman, who, by the way, also wants to sing with advanced voice synthesis and become a social media phenom, which you'd be forgiven for mistaking as the only two career paths open to a beautiful woman. Okay, so maybe I do mean to be pessimistic. It's eternally frustrating to be a woman excited by video games and the internet only to have their potential routinely diluted to the same tedious tropes a straight man depends on to get off, making AI women that represent the same qualities Victorians found in the restrained angel in the house is not Web 3.0. It's bog standard, traditionally sexist. An AI assisted voice can be represented by any visual, any blob, or creature. But the best Crafton can come up with is a woman I've seen on advertisements and Thinspiration Tumblr since I could go online. Okay, let's talk about this now. Right. By Ashley Bardan. Okay? There is no question. Yeah, psych, for real. Right. Right. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and Pinky, you're right. Yeah. So, look, there's no question we've read it. I mean, we're well aware of the fact that throughout gaming history, there's been a tendency to very heavily stereotype characters, right? We read about an article here recently that talked about how stereotypical all the male protagonists in games were throughout the history of video games, right? It was like a 30-ish year old Caucasian male with like brown hair and blue eyes. It was like that's all the protagonists ever were back in the day. You know what I mean? It's like there's like this very very stereotypical thing that happens in video game and I mean the females it's the same way, right? I mean it's something that happens. I think things are trending away from that. We've got the diversity tool, right? We've got the diversity tool that we can lean on, right, guys? Kappa. Though we got the diversity tool. Anyways, you know, it's. And you guys nailed it. Like, and this is one thing I'm going to say, okay? It is no secret in the entertainment industry that sex sells, right? It just does. Things that are attractive to the consensus, population, um, tend to be used in entertainment quite often because it pulls people in. It's undeniable. It's been a thing forever. Now, we all have our preferences, right? But there tends to be a bit of a stereotypical kind of consensus on what is considered beauty, right? And yeah, it's like you still left the curse word in there. I want to take it out. Nice try, dude. Nice try. Yeah. You're funny, dude. Yeah, I know, man. I know. I know, dude. Um, and that's what you guys totally nailed it, right? Like, and what's funny to me is like this, and I'm sure, did Crafton actually refer to? I can't remember, but did Crafton actually refer to this AI as a female or a woman? No, I would say no. That's why that word specifically, like I don't have those. Well, look, words can be. This is what I'm going to say to you guys. I will try to come up with some text to explain it better for everybody as far as it's concerned. Regarding, I know Pinky's had an issue with this forever. I think the best way you can go about addressing the situation, if you are unclear about the way, if I don't say it, you've been a part of this community long enough to know that, like, if I don't say it, it's probably not acceptable in chat, right? That's just logic, right? So is referring to um, there's a different way to use curse words. There are some curse words, right, that are also have an alternate meaning that isn't used as a curse slang, right? And it depends on the way it's used in the context. So, um, as far as using GD as a word to express, uh, you know, anger or whatever, that's a slang term used like in cursing, right? But to refer to, say to like somebody or reference something that they be damned, right? That's kind of referring to damned as being what would be traditionally referred to as something being or someone or someone being uh, sent to hell, right? So, I mean, it's really not a hard concept and I guess some of it might come down to the fact that, as far as curse words go, uh, and the because some curse words are a curse word as well as have an alternate meaning. It's easier to understand it if maybe you're a native English speaker. You know what I mean? Um, Authoritarianism. I guess I should just block everything out then. I mean, look, like I'm not worried about like the word ass or crap or, but the more notable, right? But that's why I don't have them blocked, because they're dual meanings behind some of the, like the word hell. Hell's the same thing as damned, right? Damned can refer to somebody being damned to hell. Hell refers to a place. Hell can also be used as a curse word, right? So it's the context of it, man. Are you using it in referring to a place? Are you using damned to refer to somebody as being actually, you know, what's the word I'm looking for here? Let's look up the definition. Condemned by God to suffer eternal punishment, right? Um, as opposed to like informal, used to emphasize or express anger or frustration in a curse word type of way. Hell is absolutely used in cursing as a curse word. It's got a dual meaning, man. That's why the words like damned and hell are not automatically taken out of chat, because there's a difference in the dual meanings behind them. Well, okay. I'm gonna get out of this topic. I'll just I'll come up with some text for you guys, or I'll just block everything. I don't know. I'll figure it out. No, it's not. It was, but you know, I'll just I'll figure it out. So again, I mean, the thing behind this, glob is a term out of Adventure Time. Yeah. So, well, I mean, the thing is like, and Pinky's not capping. He's not. So, I'll figure it out. The this issue. Let's just get back into the news here. You guys are ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, honestly, that's the tough thing about it's all respective. It's all respective. There are certain words that can be considered. There are certain people that would consider but a curse word. You know, um, and instead of saying like bottom or rear end, right? It's all respective to how you feel about things. And when it comes down to it, the cursing thing is not about, again, me having any kind of issue with cursing. It's about trying to keep some of the more gnarly or upper echelon, as it were, kind of curse words in the English language from being within chat, to make it safe for work and welcoming and accommodating for people, make people feel comfortable, as opposed to us just spamming like, curse words all the time and stuff, that can potentially make some people feel unwelcome. So I'll try to come up with a very nice piece of text uh, that will help people such as Pinky understand exactly where this all stands, okay? Sorry that it's not very clear. It's hard. It is hard because of that situation. It's all a little bit respective, but as far as how it goes for me and how I feel about running this channel, I will try to come up with something very, very explicit to make sure everybody knows how to move forward with it. Okay? So I apologize. I will get that developed very soon. In regards to this situation, I think it's a bit ridiculous. I do think that this writer has an issue with the traditional stereotypical female in video games. But again, what's funny is that it's always the females that are talked about, and not necessarily the it happens all the time to men as well, right? I mean, you're talking like that super, like square jaw, chiseled out, face and stuff, and then they're super just ripped up, and it's not all the time, but traditionally that's the play, right? So it goes both ways. It's just usually not referenced in regards to men. It's usually just referenced in regards to how women are portrayed, right? And at the same time, if Crafton didn't ever actually refer to this as a woman, then basically what Ashley Bardon has done here is taking it upon themselves to make an assumption here that just because this looks female, that it actually is female. AI person or whatever. You know what I mean? Which is bad on their part. So, I don't know, man. It's just wild that people get so bent about this kind of stuff. Especially like we said, I mean, in entertainment anyways, sex sells, man. It has forever. And you're going to appeal to what the majority of people are going to find as beauty, right? Lost Japanese adventure game from 1999 resurfaces on Steam and is so weird I can't describe it in a headline. Disturbing surreal garage bad dream adventure has never been available in English before. What is this, dude? That is horrifying. I'll kick off with a notice that some of what you're about to see is decidedly not safe for work. It's for adults. In the 1990s, Japanese surrealist artist Tamami Sakuba realized that he could make a game with the free HyperCard software on his Mac. After a few prototypes, he started working on what would eventually become Garage Bad Dream Adventure, a bizarre and disturbing point-and-click adventure about a fetal biomechanical creature navigating a parapsychological and disturbingly sexualized but not explicitly sexy world. Though it's not an outright horror game and it doesn't rely on scares or gore, the aesthetic can be generously described as nightmarish, which fits since it's supposedly cribbed from Sakuba's nightmares. The protagonist has two stats, ego and fuel. Run out of fuel and you die. Run out of ego and, well, you fall into a state of mental strain so profound that you might as well have died. Either way, game over. Soon after Garage was released, it was effectively killed. Publisher Toshiba EMI stopped printing CD-ROMs. Only 3,000 copies of Garage were ever made. Wow. All in Japanese, barely enough to qualify the game for cult status. It languished in obscurity for 2 decades, but now it's back. Partially due to efforts of fans and partially due to the efforts of its creator. So now you too will get to experience the delight of feeding weird crabs you caught in a gutter to a large female corroded robot that will turn it into fuel. The fuel will be dispensed from pumps in its breasts. Ugh! The new version of Garage includes entirely retouched images, revised videos updated with AI frame interpolation, a new user interface, and better game balance. In addition, the Steam page says new chapters, subquests, and multiple endings have been added. You can find Garage Bad Dream Adventure on Steam, where it will release on July 8th. Shout out to Obscure Game Aesthetics, without whom I would not have known about what I can only expect to be a transcendently bizarre experience. We're going to watch this after the news section. Score this NVIDIA-powered Lenovo gaming laptop for a ridiculously cheap $500. It actually has a dedicated 1650 in it. Huh. Getting into portable PC gaming isn't cheap. Cheap gaming laptops with a discrete graphics card needed to play games usually start around $800 to $1,000 and only go up, way up from there. But right now you can get an entry-level Lenovo with a 1650 in it for $500 at GameStop. Ideal notebook for a budding gamer on a budget. What's the other stats on it? 15.6-inch display, 1080p display, refresh rate of 120 hertz. Yeah, 1650 is an older GPU, but it'll still play games okay on lower settings, yeah. Got a i5 11300H, 8 gigs of RAM. I wonder if the RAM is upgradable. If you could upgrade that to like 16 or even 32, that'd be insane. Yeah, I mean, 500 bucks, that's not bad. If anybody's interested, uh, take a look. NFT Tech announces play to earn gaming platform. Yo, Pinky, did you see as well that I sent you a Discord message? How to access the world files and everything. Did you see that, dude? I tried to send it to everybody that was in the server, so you guys would have access to the world files yesterday. Okay, cool, cool, buddy. Um, I couldn't remember. I knew Syke had told me that he got it, but I couldn't remember if you said you got it. NFT Tech announces play to earn gaming platform. You been playing any more Neon White, man? Vancouver, British Columbia, a leading technology company to mainstream decentralized ownership, NFTs, and metaverse. You playing it right now? Sick, dude. You totally hooked? And the metaverse for public markets announced today the alpha launch of its proprietary play to earn gaming platform that will enable more lucrative connections between players and games. Platform set to fully launch in summer solves the discoverability issue in gaming. It will enable players to find and play multiple P2E games at once, play to earn games at once, and provide live feedback on games that provide the highest yields. The platform will also feature new games, events with these games, and statistics to help users choose which game to play based on the effort required, popularity, and the volatility of the in game currency. Quote, running Goat Guild has optimized NFT Tech's ability to understand what players need to maximize their income, said Wayne Lloyd, executive chairman of NFT Tech. Launching this platform later this summer will allow us to capitalize on the large gaming season that comes in quarter four, as recent history demonstrated that the gaming industry is more resilient during an economic downturn. Excuse me. During recessions, video games offer a good value source of entertainment as people tighten belts and go out less. The P2E gaming industry represents a large revenue opportunities right off the bat, with the top 10 games having a combined player base of just under 5 million, leading games like Axie. Talking about Axie Infinity, dude? Because didn't that game just get obliterated? Have a market cap of approximately 4 billion US, have a monthly player base of 700K. To put that in perspective for how much room P2E has to grow, Activision's Call of Duty had over 110 million monthly active players in November of 2020. NFT Tech's long-term vision for this platform is to grow a large user base of players earning gaming assets and to build a marketplace that can facilitate player-to-player transactions, enabling cross-game transactions where players can trade items in one game for items in another. A similar platform that focuses on cryptocurrencies, Nansen has recently raised 75 million in Series B funding from GIC, Andreessen Horowitz, Tiger Global, and SCB10X, along with additional prominent VCs and angel investors. NFT Tech works to develop infrastructure, assets, real estate, and IP in the metaverse, build and generate revenue from P2E and M2E games, and bring insights and benefits to the public markets. By bridging the gap between traditional capital markets and the Web3 space, NFT Tech is mainstreaming decentralized ownership, NFTs, and the metaverse. Current projects include founding the Goat Guild and Fuku. All right, man. All the NFT stuff is just, I'm so over it, man. Steam Sale drops 10 popular games to cheapest prices ever. Tons of Steam games are on sale right now, either through daily deals within the platform or as part of sales held by different publishers amid all the ongoing gaming events and announcements. While those gaming events have given people new titles to look forward to, it's sales like this one that give people the chance to try new games right now, sometimes with perfect timing too. For those who are looking for some new games to add to your library, you're in luck. A number of acclaimed Steam games have dropped to their lowest prices ever, but only for a while. Couple that with all the free Steam games that are given away every now and then, and Steam users have plenty of things to pick from this week. To help make some decisions, we've picked out 10 Steam games with resoundingly positive reviews on the platform, which are currently on sale at their lowest prices ever. What we got? Tell me why. Latest narrative adventure game from Don't Nod Entertainment, the studio behind the beloved franchise Life is Strange. In this intimate mystery, reunites twins Tyler and Allison Ronan use their supernatural bond to unravel the memories of their loving but troubled childhood. Set in beautiful small town Alaska, Tell Me Why features true-to-life characters, mature themes, and gripping choices. As you conjure up memories of the past, your choices will affect the twins' relationship, determine the strength of their bond, and shape the course of their lives. Free survival, Ark Survival Evolved. We talked about that. Free to keep Tangle Tower. Quote, unravel a thrilling mystery by exploring a strange and twisted mansion. Psych. Uncovering curious clues, interrogating peculiar suspects, and solving unique puzzles. Will you be able to uncover the secrets of Tangle Tower? Thomas Was Alone. An indie minimalist 2D platformer about friendship and jumping and floating and anti-gravity. Guide a group of rectangles through a series of obstacles using their different skills together to get to the end of each environment. Listen to awesome music by David Housden. Jump over rectangles meticulously placed by Mike Bithell. Listen to voiceover read wistfully and a bit amusingly by Danny Wallace. Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. Welcome to a terrifying world of poetry and romance. Write poems for your crush. Who was recommending Doki Doki Literature Club to me? Was it Metal? And erase any mistakes along the way to ensure your perfect ending. Now's your chance to discover why DDLC is one of the most beloved psychological horror games of the decade. You were Psych? Really? Play it for Scaretober? Dude, we're not going to have time this Scaretober. Well, thanks, dude. I don't know why I was thinking it was Metal. Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks. Sorry. The thing that's rough is like, dude, we're playing all the Dead Space games. We're going to be playing Scorn as long as it releases on time. There was something else coming out that I wanted to play during Scaretober as well. I can't remember what it is right now. And, dude, then we potentially, if we're lucky, we're going to have God of War Ragnarok dropping on PC in November as well. So pushing October out into November might end up being rough. We'll just see what happens. But who knows, man? Maybe it'll happen. Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. I've been promoting this game. If you have not played this and you're a fan of RPGs, you got to check this out. Set in a huge open world, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen presents a rewarding action combat experience. Players embark on an epic adventure in a rich living world with 3 AI companions, known as pawns. These partners fight independently, demonstrating prowess and ability that they have developed based on traits learned from each player. PC users can share these pawns online and reap rewards of treasure, tips, and strategy hints for taking down the terrifying enemies. Pawns can also be borrowed when specific skills are needed to complete various challenging quests. John Wick Hex. Fast-paced, action-oriented strategy game that makes you think and strike like John Wick, the professional hitman of the critically acclaimed film franchise. Created in close cooperation with the creative teams behind the films, John Wick Hex is fight choreographed chess brought to life as a video game, capturing the series' signature gun fu style while expanding its story universe. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. That's supposed to be a really good game. Did they really, gamer? I thought it was coming, but I hadn't seen it yet. Thanks, man. I'll pull it up in just a moment. Surprised it didn't come up in the news section, man. Or like the searches. Yo, thanks, buddy. That's awesome, dude. Oh, I'm psyched, man. I really thought we were gonna see this on the Capcom showcase, but did they have like an entire Dragon's Dogma like showcase kind of thing yesterday? Is that what I forgot about? We're gonna read about this. Yo, Dragon's Dogma 1 is so good. I hope the second one's as good too. Play through all 9 Skywalker Saga films in a game unlike any other, with over 300 playable characters, over 100 vehicles, and 23 planets to explore. A galaxy far, far away has never been more fun. Yeah, I think I agree, Psych. I think that they used to be more acceptable. Um, Back in the day, like, dude, there was a Matrix game on like Xbox One that I absolutely loved, dude. It was a ton of fun, but I think they haven't translated as well into modern gaming. Yeah. Uh, yo, thanks, gamer. Yeah, Max Payne. Yeah, was also really good. There is a John Wick VR game for real, Pinky. I didn't know that. Okay. Yeah, I think that they would do much better in a VR setting than, and not that they can't be good, you know what I mean. But I don't think that they've kind of come across in modern gaming quite as well as some other genres have. Yeah. 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 Um, Got Assassin's Creed Origins on sale. We all know what AC is. Chivalry 2 on sale. Multiplayer first person slasher inspired by epic medieval movie battles. Yep. Jurassic World 2 Evolution. Offering an all new narrative campaign voiced by cast members from across the Jurassic World film franchise. Exciting new features, 4 engaging game modes, and an expanded roster of awe inspiring dinosaurs. Devil May Cry 5 on sale as well for $10. Lots of games on sale on Steam right now. Check it out. Wait, what? Remake Integrate is available on Steam now? Uh oh. This is my big issue. You see this? How am I supposed? I love Final Fantasy VII Remake. It's an incredible game, and I would also love to be able to recommend it to everyone, anyone, and everyone. How am I supposed to if Square Enix does not provide any patches to fix the issues that have been in the PC version for over 6 months, despite knowing that they exist? This is one of my huge issues with Square Enix and other developers. Um, they do these like ports of games to other platforms, and they know there are issues, and they just don't ever patch anything up, man. It feels so terrible. The game is good. The PC port is bad. That's why I never played it initially, man. And this is why I've continued to not play it. And apparently, it's still just a terrible PC port. There have been some community mods that I know of that have made it better, but that's not what should be relied on, dude. It should be the developer taking control of the situation. Feels so bad, man. Hate it. Drives me crazy, man. Yeah, lots of games on sale, man. So check out the Steam sale. Check out the Steam sale. Web3 gaming marketplace Aqua expands its supported games and blockchains as it begins to preview its offering for partners. A gamer-focused Web3 marketplace has today begun to reveal some of its product partners and has added Facebook and gaming industry executives to its C-suite. Supported by prominent NFT investment platform Digital, Aqua empowers players through education, discovery, and tools, helping them to engage with their favorite blockchain games and seamlessly manage their gaming NFTs. Unlike other Web3 marketplaces, Aqua focuses solely on NFTs within the blockchain gaming sector. Its mission is to provide a dedicated space for blockchain gamers to interact with games and fellow players, increase accessibility and connectivity among blockchain games, and elevate awareness of the Web3 gaming space through educational content. To further its mission of serving the blockchain gaming community in an ever-changing market, Aqua has appointed a team of leaders with expertise in gaming, business development, and marketing. Ahead of next week's NFT NYC, Aqua revealed that Gods Unchained, Guild of Guardians, Axie Infinity, and Crypto Unicorns, as well as open world MMO Delysium, will all be coming to the marketplace this year. In addition to equipping players with in-game performance data across specific assets, Aqua will also serve as a discovery tool for users to easily navigate the rapidly growing catalog of Web3 games. Launching in 2022, Aqua is a player-focused marketplace built for Web3 gamers. Aqua empowers players to explore the evolving world of Web3 gaming, providing deep insights and data points on in-game assets, giving them the content and tools they need to buy, sell, and trade gaming NFTs from their favorite titles. Comprising gaming industry veterans, funded by investment platform Digital, and supported by venture services firm The General Partnership, Aqua aims to build a better experience for players in this exciting new gaming vertical. Yeah. All right. There you go. Best PS3 games to stream on PS Plus Premium. What do we got? We're just going to look at the list. Batman Arkham Origins. Yo, gamer, are you still enjoying the your subscription so far? I know it's very new. You probably haven't had a whole lot of time to play around on it and stuff, but you still liking it so far? Devil May Cry HD Collection, Disgaea series. I'm not familiar with that. Colt Japanese Tactics series. Grab several Disgaea games on PS Plus and feel what it's like to deliver ridiculous numbers of damage, forge relationships, and master exotic weapons within the fantasy frame of these titles. Just the Disgaea games alone offer hundreds of hours of compelling PS3 streaming content. Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Enslaved Odyssey to the West, Fallout New Vegas, Fear. Checking out a couple of games. We played Fear last October. That was awesome. God of War 1 HD and God of War 2 HD. Hot Shots Golf. Is that Ico? HD? In an era where PS2 was home to a regular influx of hit games, Ico stood out from the pack with its more tranquil puzzle gameplay and novel storytelling methods. Fast forward a few years into the future, and an HD remaster brought all that magic back in a new light. Infamous 1 and 2, Mega Man 9 and 10, Motorstorm Apocalypse, Ninja Gaiden Sigma 1 and 2, cool. Just trying to platinum Watch Dogs, nice, dude. Good luck, dude. Pixel Junk Eden Encore, Puppeteer, Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus and A Crack in Time, RDR and Undead Nightmare, RE4 HD, Resistance 3, Sam and Max Episodes 1 through 5, Split Second, Star Wars The Force Unleashed 1 and 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix, Super Stardust HD, Tales from Space About a Blob plus Mutant Blobs Attack, Tokyo Jungle, XCOM Enemy Within, dude, the original XCOM game. Dude, I played the crap out of this game on PC back in the day. That's a lot of really good games. A lot of really good games. If you haven't played some of those, definitely worth checking out if you have a subscription already. The Epic Game Store has been updated once more with two new features that for players to check out: ratings and polls. The first of those features, ratings, functions similarly to reviews, though the system Epic Games has employed looks to stop review bombing by putting a twist on the rating system. Both ratings and polls should prove useful for people looking for new games to play, since they both provide samples of opinions from the community regarding how different games play and how worthwhile they are. Nice. Yes, very good. Very good. That's nice. That's needed. Epic Games' rating system is different from a typical review feature in that it only asks random players how they feel about a game after that person has spent more than 2 hours with the title. Players will be asked simply to rate the game out of 5 stars, and though the random nature of this means not everyone will be able to go leave a review at will, Epic Games hopes it'll cut down on review bombing. Maybe. Uh, Here's how it works. Following a play session, random players will be offered the opportunity to score the game up to 5 stars. The update from Epic Games reads: over time, these scores will help populate the overall rating that will appear on the product store page. Because these requests are randomized, we won't spam our players, and we probably won't ask about every game or app used. This approach protects games from review bombing and ensures people assigning scores are actual players of the game. You know what I think they need to incorporate here is a certain threshold of a number of hours being played in a game as well, allows anybody to leave a review. Like if you have like 40 hours, 40 hours in a game, something like that, you can automatically leave a review for that game. Because that means that somebody's had probably a pretty good time playing that game. And quite often, people want to leave a review for a game that they've enjoyed quite a bit. And if you're not given that opportunity, that sucks. I understand their methodology behind trying to keep people from review bombing, because that is an issue. But not allowing people that love the game to be able to leave a review too after getting so many hours put into the game, that feels bad. The Game Store new polling system is also randomized. Players will be asked questions about the games they've played, with their answers providing Epic Games info about relevant tags for different games so that players can get a better idea about the game's various features via that overview. Separately from ratings, players may also be selected at random at the end of a play session to answer a poll. For polls, players will be asked a question that relates to their most recent session. The questions cover a broad range and will have a number of potential responses. Players might be asked to respond yes or no to: is this game good to play with a group? Players could also be presented with a multiple choice poll asking: how challenging are the bosses in this game? The new Epic Game Store features should be live for users to check out now. Huh. I feel like they're missing a huge thing here with this, which again is, if you have a certain number of hours in the game, you should be able to automatically leave a review if you want. Um, because yeah, only needing a couple of hours in the game to leave a review, I think is very pertinent. That's very nice. But saying that somebody that has spent a significant amount of time in the game isn't able to leave a review, that sucks. Quite often, the more thorough reviews you're going to get from anybody are going to be those people that have spent a significant amount of time in those games, right? So, not allowing people to automatically leave a review if they've spent a significant amount of time in the game, I feel is very short sighted on their part. Yo, Katari, what's up? I have almost 600 hours on Atlas. Pirate version of Ark Survival Evolve Even now, I'd give it 1 star. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. Yeah, psych. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Qatari, and that I mean, just because somebody has a significant amount of hours in a game doesn't mean they're going to leave a good review, right? But they will be able to leave a more comprehensive review of what the game has to offer. And usually, you look when you're going to look at user reviews about a game, you're looking for people that have spent a at least a substantial amount of time in the game to find out what their overall consensus was about what the game had to offer, right? Rather than just looking for a whole bunch of reviews where people had 2 to 5 hours in a game or whatever. You know what I mean? Um, oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, well, you know how I feel about that, right? I mean, even games where I'm always taking a critical look at what potentially games can do better, right? Anytime I finish a game, you guys know that I try to really express the pros and cons of what I experienced within the game. You know what I mean? And that's what I would look for from a review as well. Yeah, I don't, I want something that gives me a really nice laid out overall look at what I am potentially going to experience in the game as far as pros and cons, right? So yeah, being objective in the reviews for sure. Well, yeah, I mean, again, yeah, but just like Katari just said right there, like having 600 hours in on Atlas and not finding it something that, I mean, there has to be an amount of enjoyment there, right? Katari, I mean, 600 hours and you would still just give it a 1 star. Playing 600 hours is not a small amount of time. Yeah, I mean, I think Epic's doing a good thing here. I think that they're making sure that people at least have a little bit of experience in the game, um, and not allowing just anybody to go in and review the game prevents the review bombing stuff, which is terrible. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So that would have been part of your review, right? Yeah. So, and as far as what you're talking about with that title specifically, right? Atlas, is this a thing where they reset servers? Is that what you're talking about? Or they actually were doing like content updates that kind of just revamped the entire game and made you, kind of have to start from scratch? Is it a thing where they reset servers all the time? Is that play? Yeah, and Psych, you're right. Both? Okay. I understand how frustrating that can be. There are a lot of games, online service games with servers and things like that, where Rust is another one, right? Rust is another one where um, it's a lot of grinding. You put a lot of hours in, you get stuff built up, and servers are always being reset, and then you're having to get on a new one and start from scratch, and not everybody's a fan of that. So I understand how brutal that can be for people. You spend a lot of time and it just kind of everything gets erased. In psych, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think that you can't necessarily rely on everybody to hit on all the pros and cons of what a game's going to have to offer, right? And I definitely don't. But I think you've got a better chance of getting a nice overall review from somebody the more hours they have in a game potentially. Yeah, I think that's probably a pretty good assumption. Not that everybody's going to be that way, but oh, the first time they wiped was because of hackers. After that, they just started doing it all the time. Oh yeah, best ships take months to farm. Yeah, yeah, that feels bad, dude. Yeah, I mean, I can understand it from the devs' point of view to an extent. How often do they wipe servers, Katari? How often are they wiping? Because if it takes months to build up the best ships, how often are they wiping out the servers on average? Usually it's a random wipe. Usually there's not any kind of set time necessarily in those kinds of games. They'll just be like, until like it's about to happen, they'll be like, "Hey, servers are being wiped." So, and then people will just kind of quit playing until they go down and start a new game, or they'll just go to another server, start on a new server. So I think they have a little bit of addressing to do here in this, anyways, from what we've talked about right now. Um, a reporter's Freedom of Information Act request scored details on EA Sports College Football. Details about the highly anticipated next installment of EA Sports College Football emerged from an unusual source on Friday, a FOIA request. Again, that's Freedom of Information Act request. Matt Brown, a journalist and the author of the newsletter Extra Points, has been sending FOIA or Freedom of Information Act requests to dozens of universities to muster information about the 22nd installment of EA Sports College Football video game franchise. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I haven't touched a game in years now, but they do it 2 to 3 times a year. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I understand. I've heard devs talk about that and why they do it, and ultimately, from what the devs' point of view, quite often, what I've gathered is it's a matter of taking everybody down to a base playing level, because there's only so much content in the game, right? Usually in these games, there's only so much, and even though some of it can be very grindy, a lot of people eventually get there, and then there's not a whole lot left to do, right? But people that want to join in those servers that have been live for quite a while, it's very hard for them to progress when everybody else is already so advanced. So what resetting the server does is takes everybody down to that same base level. Fresh start for everybody that wants to play, and I understand it from a dev's point of view about why it's important to do server resets from time to time in games like that. And I understand how absolutely frustrating it can be for players that have spent so much time in those kinds of games. So I see both sides, man. I see both sides. They just wiped on the 18th of May. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Katari. I appreciate the input, man. Thanks for letting me know. Um, I'm familiar with Atlas. I've never played it, though. Matt Brown, a journalist and the author of the newsletter Extra Points, has been sending Freedom of Information Act requests to dozens of universities, trying to muster information about the 22nd installment of EA Sports College Football video game franchise, which has been dormant since 2013. On Friday, Brown reported that the game's development is in full swing and the title is on track to be released next summer, according to emails between the collegiate license company and multiple universities. According to Brown's findings, EA Sports is going through the laborious process of collecting photos and audio files for every participating Division I college football program, including the songs from the bands and signature cheers from the stands, to recreate the game day experience. The company is even asking schools to explain how teams use and distribute the stickers on players' helmets week to week to recreate the same detail over the course of a season, for example. EA did not respond to a request for comment. According to Brown, so far, nearly 120 schools have conceptually approved participation to be in the video game. Out of the 131 schools in Division I NCAA football. And the schools that participate are expected to earn anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000, depending on their institution's historical ranking in the AP Top 25. Quote, I've been told that the remaining schools are still supplying assets and are still communicating as if they are planning on being in the game, Brown said. Some of those institutions like Northwestern, Tulane, and Notre Dame have said we won't be in the game unless we can pay players. That is the whole reason why this game went away in the first place. Including real players in the game and using their names and likenesses was the chief reason the series was discontinued after EA and the NCAA were taken to court over the unpaid use of player likenesses. Yep. Previously, the NCAA prohibited payments to college athletes, but a recent Supreme Court ruling overturned the prohibition, clearing the way for players to be compensated for their inclusion in the game, as well as other endorsements. Last year, the lead attorney representing athletes in a case against the NCAA told the Post that EA Sports was willing to pay athletes to do so. Quote, more people play this video game than buy jerseys, and certainly than buying trading cards, Brown said. This is by far the most popular, so if I wanted to write about those issues, this is a good vehicle to do it. Yeah, here's the thing. Again, the schools are already saying they're being compensated by EA for allowing their teams to be included in the game. But where is the payout to the players, right? That's the big thing. And again, that's why this went away in the first place back in 2013. And now that players can be paid for their likeness or sponsorships or what have you, they've got to figure a way to, out a way to compensate the players as well. Whether it be from the money that schools are receiving from EA and then handed down to the players, or from EA themselves, I don't know, but it's probably going to have to be figured out somehow. I didn't read everything there. I didn't mean to do that. So if you want to read that entire article, I skipped out on some of the content I felt wasn't really important, but if you want to read the whole thing, it's right there. House Marquee wants to put canned Returnal ideas into its next game. Speaking to VGC in a soon-to-be published interview, Evie Koronen discussed the future of the studio and what excites her about working at the Finland-based developer going forward. House Marquee confirmed it was working on a new IP with PlayStation earlier this year. Returnal was so ambitious. Koronen told VGC, "We dreamt super big, but we still had to leave so much on the cutting room floor. All of these ideas and narrative systems, I'm super excited to pick up those pieces and see how those fit our new IP story. We didn't quite have the handle on how big Returnal was going to be. Building for a new platform on a new engine with a new team, all those things require some learning. Now we have that team that has gone through the fire and learned how to build a game like Returnal, so now we get to start off stronger." Coronin also talked about the lessons that she and the team learned during the development of Returnal and in creating House Marquee's first large narrative game. Oh, cool. Thanks, Katari. Yeah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, I'll definitely, take a look. Yeah, thank you. That's awesome. Um, that I mean that feels incredibly bad. Like seeing people have that much time spent in a game and go, I wouldn't recommend it. That's wild. Uh, Letting go of that and somehow building the sandbox or the playground for players in a way that means certain story blocks become available is challenging. In Returnal, the narrative unfolds through brief clips that play when the player dies and returns to their ship. There are also longer story sequences that take place in a house in the middle of the first area. However, players aren't forced into this house, and there are large swaths of the Returnal narrative that can be completely ignored by players not looking for them. You've got to just like tempt them with this foreshadowing and teasing them like, hey, soon you're going to get this story block. Are you excited? And hope that they grab onto it before the next thing needs to happen, Coronin explained. We've also asked the writer if the story of Celine, the main character in Returnal, was finished. Laughing, I can't comment on that too much, but I think the boys did slip some time earlier this year that we were working on an original IP. Of course, if we return to Celine's story after that, remains to be seen. 2 months after Returnal's release, the Finnish studio was acquired by Sony Interactive, which is currently focused on increasing its live service games output. Speaking to GQ last year, Kutanen suggested joining Sony would allow House Marquee to continue making bigger game experiences like Returnal. Cool. Yeah, gamer. I know those platinum ones especially do to rough. Yeah. Yeah, dude. I know. I know. I'm sorry, man. Yo, this will be the last article for the day. Um, so, last article. If you have anything else to bring up, let me know and we'll address it before we move on to whatever we're going to play for the day, okay? I don't know. Maybe some Superland, maybe some community games. I don't know, man. I don't know what we're getting into. uh, I didn't really. I was working on other stuff yesterday, and I got like the intro video stuff figured out, and by the time I got everything else done, I was like, you know what, I'm tired. I was like, we'll figure it out as a community tomorrow. So, but this is huge news for me. Dragon's Dogma 1, I was absolutely just entranced by, man. It really gripped me. And if you love RPGs, I cannot recommend more giving Dragon's Dogma 1 a try. And the fact that we now have confirmation, there's been rumor mill stuff for quite a while about Dragon's Dogma 2. And now we know for a fact it's official that it's coming. And shout out to Gamer. Thanks, buddy. Didn't see this in the news, you know, searches this morning. So thanks, man. No, I don't think that I've seen that trailer. Katari, we will pull it up between the thing that's rough is let me see. Yeah. After we'll pull it up and watch it. The thing that's rough is like watching a lot of like trailers or YouTube videos or whatever quite often results in like copyright strikes when I'm uploading these news segments to YouTube. So what I like to do is just talk about this stuff, and then if it's like a trailer or whatever, we'll go watch it in between. No, it's cool. We can watch it. I'm all about that. I'm all about that, dude. I love this community, man. Expanding upon our knowledge and info regarding games and games that are coming out and what might be interesting to anybody in the community, man, is awesome. I have not seen it yet, but we'll watch it in between the news segment and moving on to gaming. Okay, so give me just a bit and we'll take a look at it. Thanks, buddy. Um, Dragon's Dogma 2 has been announced a decade after its predecessor's release, and yo, just because even though it's been 10 years since Dragon's Dogma 1, that game holds up. Okay, so don't look at 10 years and go, it's probably not great. It holds up. Check it out. If you like RPGs, it is a fantastic game. Uh, as part of Capcom's Dragon's Dogma 10th anniversary celebrations, a sequel has finally been announced. Dragon's Dogma 2 is officially in the works and is set to land in 2023. We will be playing this game on release. The announcement came as part of a video presentation commemorating the decade that passed since Dragon's Dogma first arrived on PS3 and Xbox 360. Hideki Itsuno, the game's director, and key dev team members Daigo Akino and Kenichi Suzuki announced the game by unzipping their hoods triumphantly at the end of the presentation, revealing the name Dragon's Dogma 2, which was followed by a short animation of the official logo treatment to close out the video. That's awesome. Before the big announcement, Itsuno introduced a look back at the development of Dragon's Dogma. It's a fascinating look at the director and his inspirations in fighting games like Street Fighter and melding that kind of flexible combat system with an expansive RPG story and gameplay. I played Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen on PC. I did not play it when it first released. Dragon's Dogma 1. I did not play it on first release. I played Dark Arisen version on Steam. Grab it. It's fantastic. He also goes into the creation of the pawn system and wanting to make a single-player RPG that felt like playing with your friends online. If you're not familiar, yo, yeah, all good, gamer. Yeah, thanks for being here, dude. Be safe. We'll see you in just a second. What the pawn system is, you actually have a like AI-controlled assistant kind of that rolls around with you, right? It's a character that you get to basically create, manage as far as equipment. There are different kinds of fighting styles, things like that. That this you get to control and switch between with this kind of pawn that rolls along with you. The other thing that's really cool about the pawn system is that you get to actually like have your pawn put up on their servers for other people to pull down and take along with them, and you get to use other people's pawns as well. So it's a really cool system that I've never seen in any other game before. Yeah, I mean, I know. The thing for me is like I don't like to drag out the news segment any longer than I have to. You know, sometimes we'll watch trailers on here and stuff like that, but quite often, and I know specifically for certain, I know how to circumvent, and I appreciate the info. Uh, well, and the thing is, it's not always necessarily the after the fact stuff. It's uploading it initially, right? So it's the initial upload where, especially YouTube videos will automatically get a copyright strike because of the YouTube is just really good. Like when I export the VODs from Twitch into YouTube, it automatically does a check, and it's got a really good. YouTube has a really good method of coding in the back end to kind of catch any other YouTube videos that are in there, right? And it'll automatically put a copyright on it. As soon as they're uploaded, it'll be a copyright automatically. It's not the content creators getting notified that there's a video out there potentially with like one of my videos potentially having their content in it. It automatically gets struck, right? And which means I then have to either cut that content out or I have to mute the audio for the entire thing. You know what I mean? And I know that you can circumvent some of it by pausing and talking and stuff like that. But for the most part, man, I just don't want to have to deal with that. We watch some of the trailers from time to time. There are ones I know that are cool to watch. There are others that I know are not cool to watch just from my experience with dealing with this kind of stuff. And to an extent, like with the news segment, I just don't want to have to deal with that, man. So I'd rather just move through it. Not everybody enjoys the news segments being super long because we have gaming to get to as well, right? And that's what the channel's about is ultimately us gaming together and enjoying that content as well. And so dragging out the news segment doesn't always feel good at everybody. So I just kind of stay away from that. But I appreciate the info, buddy. Oh, are you serious? Oh, gamer. Wow, dude, you just go around like letting the pawn like throttle everything. Yeah, that's funny, man. So the pawn system's really cool. It was really unique. I think it still is. I haven't really seen anything else like it in a game up to this point. The presentation is worth a watch for this mini documentary alone. There's no date for Dragon's Dogma 2 or any footage of the game yet, but having it in development is a huge step forward for the series after all this time. Capcom has confirmed the game is being built using the company's RE engine, which powers games like Resident Evil Village, Monster Hunter Rise, and the upcoming Street Fighter 6. That is huge news. Huge news. Um, cool. So, in between us figuring out whatever we're gonna or play coming up, and ending the segment right now, we've got a few things to take a look at, talk about. But as far as news goes, that's it for today. Okay, guys. Thank you to everybody who's always part of what we do. Everybody who's here and contributing to the news segment, especially, thank you guys very much. If you're not catching this live and you might be viewing this on YouTube later, then if you're enjoying the content, do me a favor, consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and maybe leave me a comment so we can have a bit of a discussion regarding some of these topics we went over today, okay? Also, see what you can do about coming and hanging out with us at 6 o'clock a.m. CST every single day, where we always start the stream off with video gaming news, okay? Other than that, just stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we'll catch everybody tomorrow morning for June 19th edition of Video Gaming News. Cool?